Yo, yo, yo. Donk and Dave here on the Take It Easy tour.
Take it easy.
Day 11. 11! Well, I camped last night and it was good. Got a good night's sleep. Woke up way too early again. But what happened? I figured out what the knocking noise was in my front wheel. My brake pads are about gone. And I was sitting here just scratching my head about that. And so it really threw me for a loop just to think about trying to replace the brake pads. It's an easy job, and I can do it, but I'm just kind of wondering if there's anything else on the bike that's just going to fail. So it kind of threw me for a loop in my mentality last night. So I got up this morning and the battery was low. I mean really low, like it wouldn't crank low. Fortunately, I camped on top of a hill and I was able to get the bike in a position where I could coast it down the hill and then bump start it. And so I did that. But that was scary. What had happened was I have another charger battery pack that I had hooked up to the bike, and it charged for a long time without the bike running, and it ran the battery down. So that's why it was low. I don't think there's anything wrong with my battery per se, but I'll have to monitor that a little bit and not charge that battery pack when it's not on the bike running. You know, you got to charge it when the bike is running. So lesson learned there. But this is just one of those things that you got to deal with when you're on the road. The little things that can happen that can kind of mess with your head a little bit. So I'll get this done. I'm going to go to a place right now. I made a few calls. I got 2 places that have brake pads for the CB500X. So I feel better about that. And I can put brake pads on in about 10 minutes. So problem solved. It just takes a little bit of money, a little bit of time, you know, and get it done. All right, folks, we're here at Lighthouse Point, which is just outside of New Hanover, Connecticut. And there's the bay right there. And goes on out, and there's the ocean. So I'm right here along the coast in Connecticut, and if you can imagine what I'm going to do, I'm going to be headed north along the coast. So you'll be seeing a lot more of these things, lighthouses. I got a lightkeeper's house right there. Looks like I got something else over there, and they got a park over here. This is a park right here, city park or county park or whatever. It's kind of nice. Yeah, but you'll be seeing a lot more of these lighthouses in the future, later. Well, we're here at the point here where the lighthouse is, and you can see that's the city in there, and here's the bay. And look at the coastline, it's all rocky. And look, there's a lighthouse way out there at that point. They're on the jetties. And you can see how the ships would come in because there's 2 buoys out there that would guide the ships coming in, which is pretty cool. And here's the lighthouse, and it's way up there. So I'm not going to climb those stairs, not today. This is a pretty neat place. They got a park here. They got a playground for the kids and all that stuff. You can picnic and all that crazy stuff. A little bit of a beach here. You got some people there just kind of laying out. Some dude's wearing a damn Speedo. That ain't gonna happen. Some dude wearing a Speedo, and I don't know if they're going in the water, but if they went in the water, it'd be some shrinkage. Shrinkage.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, I thought this was the baby's room. I'm really sorry.
So they let people walk out here on the rocks on the jetties here, and I'm amazed at these little kids. Man, they're just running around like freaking mountain goats, just running on these rocks, and I'm like picking my way, trying to make sure I don't fall down, bust my ass, or break something, and they're just doing it. It's amazing. But there's a lighthouse, and then there's the city over there, and then we got the bay, and you know, got more people over here, and then there's a lighthouse over there. It's just cool here. All right, we're here on the bay, still in Connecticut, and look at the houses out there. Oh my God, who could live out there? You'd have to have a boat to ferry yourself back and forth all the time. If you go to work, you need something at the grocery store, you got to get on your boat to go get it. That's crazy. But man, the houses here, look at this house up here. It's freaking huge. Wow. And it's right on the water. Can you say multi-million-dollar house right there? And then you got these houses on the row. Man, they look awesome. This is New England construction right here. They are just something else. Wow. Of course, they got to do something to repair these damn roads because they are rough as hell. I'm getting hemorrhoids from it.
Ay, caramba!
Ouch. End road work. All right, thank you. I hope so. Stuck here by a train. I hope it's going to move pretty quick. It just now started. I've been here just about a minute. Damn. I thought trains were slow in North Carolina. This thing's really slow here in Connecticut. Got enough graffiti on it though, doesn't it? Alright. Later. Alright. I'm in. Where am I anyway? Where am I?
You're in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Atlantic Seafood.
Okay, Atlantic City Seafood in
Old Saybrook, Connecticut.
Old Seabrook, Connecticut. And I'm getting the very first hopefully of many lobster rolls that I'm going to have on this trip. So I came in here, and your name is? Gil? All right, brother. And this is voted the second best seafood place in the eastern seaboard. The best one is somewhere up in Maine.
In Portland, Maine.
In Portland, Maine. Well, I'll find that too. It's just for fun. Hi, you're the owner?
Yeah.
All right. Can I put you on YouTube?
All right.
All right, because I'm documenting my trip, so you're going to be on YouTube. Huh?
Where are you from?
I'm from North Carolina. Can't you tell?
I just wondered what rock you were living under that you've never had a
So, huh?
Have you had shrimp cocktail before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so I'm going to get a lobster roll here, and they're going to set me up.
He's going to have you try their shrimp cocktail, too.
All right, I'll try that.
From the Gulf of Mexico. It's really like...
Well, I've had that from the Gulf of Mexico. I grew up in Florida, so, yeah.
Good.
So it's all good. So that's the lobster roll right there. What goes into a lobster roll besides lobster?
Well, a Connecticut lobster roll is a cold lobster roll. So there's two camps here. You have your hot lobster roll, which is just butter and lemon, and then you have your cold lobster roll, which is made with mayo, squeeze of lemon, little celery, little onion, little hot sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds great. He's setting me up. Look at that. He is setting me up.
Well, we really
Wow.
try this because, like, it's a big deal to find shrimp with no preservatives. Because they take them on the boats now, so the boats can stay out longer.
Right.
Even if you live right at the docks.
Right.
It's, you know.
It's food to table. It's got to be quick.
Yeah.
All right. How much I owe you, brother?
$16.99 for the roll.
All right.
Shrimp is on us.
Shrimp is on you.
Enjoy your trip.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna give you this. You do that.
Do you need a copy of the receipt?
Negative.
Okay.
Shrimp cocktail and a lobster roll. How about that? Real live lobster right there.
Yep.
All right, brother.
And that's Maine lobster meat.
Maine lobster.
Maine hard shells. The only lobster we carry is
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much. Again, thank you. Enjoy. Thank you.
Hang out for
All right, so we got the lobster roll right here. This is, she said, is the cold one, and this is shrimp cocktail. And that's good. I've had shrimp cocktail 100,000 times, but I can see the horseradish in there, so it is going to absolutely clear out my sinuses. I can tell that already, and I've already got something to drink in the case, so it'll be good. All right, so I'm going to enjoy this, and you guys just get jealous. Later. Atlantic Seafood. That was delicious. Thank you very much. The shrimp cocktail was great. Had lots and lots of horseradish in it. And like I said, it cleared out my sinuses, which is what good horseradish should do. Cocktail sauce. Some people put pickles in their cocktail sauce. I mean, like sweet pickles or something like that. That's kind of gross to me. But to each their own. I like horseradish that put hair on your chest.
2,000 years later.
All right, guys, I am in the United States Coast Guard Academy. How about that? I visited the Naval Academy, West Point, and now the Coast Guard. And to be quite honest, I really like the Coast Guard. I think that is one of the coolest places, because they do so much. They protect, they rescue, they do everything. A guy pulled up and the guard was there. He's like, "You got any weapons?" I said, "Nope. No weapons." "All right, have a good day." That was awesome. That's the way it ought to be. Coast Guard Academy. All right. I'm trying to find a museum or he said there was a library up here. I don't know if there is a library or not, but look at the rhododendrons are all blooming. Man, they're almost done where I'm at. It's nice and cool here too. I mean, it's cool here. Officer Candidacy School. Man, that's where I wanted to go. When I tried to apply to get into the Coast Guard, I wanted to go into OCS because I had just had my my college graduate degree, and I tried to get into OCS, and the guy said I had the Mustang, which means I had to go in enlisted, which I wasn't going to do that. Hell no. All right, we're in the museum here. I found the museum, and right outside of the museum is this cutter right here, and that's one of the primary boats that the Coast Guard uses to go offshore and round up drug runners and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to join the Coast Guard, and I didn't want to be a captain of one of these things. I wanted to be a captain on one of those scarab boats that goes offshore and runs up it's actually a cigarette boat that they repossess from the drug runners, and they go out there and they chase down people. And I was out in the St. Johns River when I was a little kid, and they had one, and this was like a cigarette boat. It was doing about 100 miles an hour, and it zoomed right past me as I was in my little 13-foot little boat that I had when I was a little kid. I thought that was the coolest damn thing, and that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. I want to do exactly that. I want to go out there and find people and chase them down. And here's another thing that the Coast Guard does. They go out there and they rescue people. There's a little depiction right here of them rescuing somebody, and there's a ginormous wave or whatever. They're about to, capsize somebody or whatever. And I went out to the West Coast to where the Columbia River comes out, and that's where they have these boats in training. They go out there and they crash into these ginormous waves, and they turn upside down and they right themselves back up and everything. It was freaking cool. You can look that up on YouTube and everything. I think it's what's the name of it? I can't remember the name of it. But if you look up Columbia River Coast Guard on YouTube, it'll show it. Man, those guys are badass. They are just the coolest, bravest people you could ever meet. All right, I'm gonna go in the museum now. Not only does the Coast Guard go out there and chase down bad guys and protect our coast, but they are also responsible for the icebreakers that go through the Great Lakes and all the way up into the Bering Sea and everything. They go out there and they rescue people there in the Bering Sea too. But yeah, they maintain the buoys, they maintain the icebreakers, and maintain waterways for the United States for our trade. And you know, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to do. They're also out there in the Mediterranean. They were part of a Desert Storm. They did a lot of things, not just stuff here in the United States. So I didn't go to the museum yet. I'm going to go in there now. There's a little bit more history about the U.S. Coast Guard. Alexander Hamilton is a guy who proposed a Coast Guard with 10 ships called cutters to enforce tariffs that on imports that were coming in. Who else in the United States do you know of that's proposing tariffs on stuff that's going to come in the United States? So they've been around a long time. So with the use of the cutters, they were able to get the United States out of debt because they were like $75 million down, and they increased their revenue up to $205 million in 1800, which was smart. And then the Coast Guard, they were used extensively in the War of 1812, you know, to try to protect our coast. And U.S. Coast Guard actually captured some British ships, which is pretty damn cool. And what else happened? The United States Coast Guard is now part of the Navy under the direction of the President. When the President says, hey, U.S. Coast Guard, you guys work for the Navy, then they do it. Otherwise, they're kind of a separate entity, which is kind of it kind of makes sense, I guess. But the United States Coast Guard, they when Prohibition hit, they were really, really outmanned by the rest of the rum runners. There was a rum running war that went on, and the United States Coast Guard lost because everybody wanted rum. So people would be smuggling it up into the United States, and the Coast Guard couldn't keep track of it. So they lost that war. But they started doing rescues and things like that, and they were ordered to start patrolling to rescue people, civilian people. Otherwise, they were not doing that prior to that. And the Coast Guard also monitors and mans the lighthouses that we have in the United States. And this is a Fresnel lens, and it can take a little bit of light and it can magnify it using these lenses here to increase the light, and you can see them from a long way off. Every lighthouse that you see uses a Fresnel lens now, which is pretty cool. Can't believe I'm here and I'm saying this into a YouTube video, but this is the library to the United States Coast Guard Academy. And I was just talking to one of the librarians, and I asked them what do they read, what do they have to read, and of course they have all their courses and stuff they have to read their books out of and everything, but the Commandant of the Coast Guard and the Chancellor of the Coast Guard Academy gives the guys a reading list of things that they have to read, very similar to what the Navy does and what the Army does and the Marines do. Every one of your military officers has a required reading list that they have to read books from, at least one book like a month, and they have this list and they have to read them, and if they don't, they get in trouble. So talking to the gal again. See, there's something about Frederick Douglass, and there's Out of the House of Bondage. I mean, all this has to do with slavery and everything. So people are being very well educated in these academies. And Black Moses, trans in college, first break the rules, the difference maker, whatever that is, the accidental admiral, code girls, whatever that was. I guess they were trying to break codes or something like that from the Nazis and things like that. And we come over here, there's a book on Shattered, how Hillary Clinton's doomed campaign. Lactivism, how feminists and fundamentalists, hippies and yuppies and physicians and politicians made breastfeeding big business and bad policy. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of stuff here to have to read. But primarily the guys that are here, they're majoring in engineering. They're not majoring in war per se. They're majoring in engineering and building ships and stuff like that. So these guys are smart. I mean, you don't get into the Coast Guard Academy, with BS courses. You got to be smart to get in here too. So lots and lots of books. So that's about it. I'm going to shut up now because I think y'all are probably bored out of your minds. But the Coast Guard Academy is pretty cool, I think. Later. Alright, there's some of the new cadets, I guess. They look pretty nip fresh. They weren't marching in time or anything like that. So they got a long 4 years ahead of them. But they were marching to their own tune, I guess. So go get them, guys. That's awesome. You go through life and you wonder what if, and that's what I do. I wonder what if. I wonder what if I had done the Coast Guard thing, or if I'd gone to law school like I should have, because I was smart enough to get into law school, and I had the backing of some people, but I guess that wasn't going to happen. But I'm happy now, and that's a good thing. All right, Donk and Dave out. Well, folks, I finally made it to the beach. It's only been, I've been going up the coast and hadn't really seen the beach that often. But this is Rock Neck State Park, just outside of Lyme, Connecticut. And we got a real beach here with real sand and real people. And hoochie mamas and lifeguards and guards. And there's the town of Lyme over there. Lyme, what a name for a town. So that'll be it for today, I think. I got a couple more subscribers, so I really want to thank you folks for that. And enjoy. I'll try to increase the quality of my videos. Maybe they're a little bit too long, but I'll try to increase the quality of them and get good stuff in. So appreciate it. Y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Donk and Dave out.